side of the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Ray Garino and Joe D calls them as they seize them, and you better believe them. Here's relevant news, biased opinion, and outright nonsense regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp! It's mechanical trickery never before broadcast over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrilled to the explosive tension as Ray and Joe cuss each other down track, barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and so much more at high noon this Sunday on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and the Live Feed, Ray Garino and Joe D. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Hempstead Turnpike to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the no parking on the expressway and no express service on the Parkway side. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass.
Let me tell you something, Joe. We're not in Ohio, but we have an Ohio theme today, and Chrissy Hine from Pretenders is helping us out here on Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And I'll tell you why. This is a personal thing on my part. There's the original. It is the 33rd anniversary of the date that my brother and I drove the Nomad back from Colorado.
Nomad tail.
If you look underneath, you'll see the original flyer. Now, that was state-of-the-art in 1987 for making flyers. It was like dot matrix printed, and you hand-taped a picture on it, and that's the original in the back there.
Cut and paste really meant cut and paste.
It literally meant cut and paste. So that was I'm celebrating that today because that's a monument in my automotive career. So of course,
I love the cartoon.
That was you could read that because I actually went in and whited out and rewrote the cartoon because it was so kind of perfect. We lost a wheel. If you go to motormouthradio.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Motormouth Radio and _Motormouth Radio on Instagram. Do follow us because you can see all the crazy stuff we get involved with when we're not sick as dogs.
Sucked into.
Yeah.
It's more like it.
The story is up there. If you go to the blog section, you'll find a couple of some interesting things to read. This story will be one of them. And you can see exactly what happened and how we skirted death and disaster and all sorts of crazy things in just two...
As you shook hands with the devil.
Ha, 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 ha. Yes, Scotty. Don't make me do that. Scotty knew about that early on. So that's that. So that's how we start today. I recommend road trips to everybody. It's a lot of fun. It's great things to do, good bonding experiences, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you get to find some good food places and get to evaluate the bathrooms of our fine country.
Oh, yeah, right. That's true. That's true. So I got to tell you, another monumental occasion has passed through my wheelhouse. The Grand National is done, Joe.
We actually got to sing na 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 na. Hey hey hey!
Get out! Get the hell out of here! Right? Yes, and I don't know if this is good or not. I know I asked you early on with the brake line changing if there was a time labor rate that was in effect, and nobody could find anything because it was too old.
Because not only that, but they really don't. Something like that is not a everyday repair.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, okay, if you got sucked into it this far, you're on your own.
Right. But I'll tell you,
picking up chassis, stuff like that.
I'll tell you what happened. It basically took me a month. I keep track. It was from the 20th of March to the 20th of April. It was 1 month of working on it, and that's kind of every day, but not all day because I'm only down there a couple hours, and I was in there on Saturdays too. But I did put 44 hours worth of work.
Mees. Well,
now,
yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's good, if it's equivocable.
I've seen the pictures. It's good.
Okay, good, because I couldn't tell you.
Professor Ray has an inordinate attention to detail. I mean, I can't drink enough coffee to do what you do.
Right. Again, but is that good? Because now you look at from a shop owner's perspective who has to reciprocate. You know, I mean, I'm on a paid deal over there. So,
well,
you know, that's the thing is who's it good for? Is it...
the customer got themselves a fine job.
It's good for the customer,
for a 32-year-old vehicle, which probably, at least in the owner's lifetime, not need lines again.
No, it should not. No,
you know what I mean. So that's a good part. You know, you get what you pay for. You know, that's an offshoot of the old axiom. Speed costs money. How much? You know, how fast you want to go.
Right.
You know, it's quality. You know, a lot of times, especially in car repairs, whether it's straight up repairs or what, you know, the kind of stuff of restoration or modification, you know, you get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could slap something together, it'll get you down the street, but it may only last, you know, a year or so. And you know, there are plenty of people who are fine with that because the old saying is, I'm gonna sell it. And of course, then you end up working on it for the next 3 years as they come in with all different stuff that goes awry.
And the video that you just showed me before the show is testament
we
to that.
got to get that onto the page home our own. Talking about brake lines. This is Ray's evil opposite in the mirror universe.
Yeah, this is the antithesis. This would be the I don't remember. You know the title of the Star Trek episode where there was the alternate
mirror.
Right, mirror. Thank you. There was the alternate. Season. There you go. Let's go to Warp Speed. We're at Warp Speed 1. Let's try and kick it up to Warp Speed 3. We'll go to the phones and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, good morning. It's the Bronc. How you guys doing?
What's happening, Bronc?
Just having my coffee, getting ready to go start my day. It's a beautiful day out here. And I'm listening to stories about road trips, and it brought me back to a similar story going to Colorado. You got 2 minutes? You want to laugh?
Yeah. I'm setting the timer.
1976, showing a little bit of my age. It was the end of the school term. It was 2 days after school ended, and it was in Long Beach. We're sitting, two other guys and myself, two other teachers, young guys like myself, and we're sitting in this bar, Timothy Tubbs, on Park Avenue. So at that time, Coors beer was real popular, but you couldn't get Coors beer out in Long Island. Do you remember that?
East of the Rockies, right? Because it was pasteurized, not pasteurized.
Not pasteurized, right. You had to buy it and drink it, and you couldn't let it get warm within X amount of days or something.
Right. So you bought a Trans Am and a dog and a big rig and... No.
Right, and a flying nun.
Yeah. I was going to say something better than that.
Okay, good.
Right, so we're sitting there, and we say, let's get Coors beer. And we're a little bit drunk at this point. I would say we're probably a lot drunk at this point. And the bartender, this guy, Mike Keegan, he had a 68 Nova that probably wasn't well maintained. At the time, I was driving a 73 Lincoln Continental Mark.
Nice.
So he said, hey, I got a great idea. I don't know who brought it up. He said, let's go get some Coors beer. So the other two buddies and myself say, good idea, let's go. So we go to Mike. I'll tell you what, we're going to borrow your car. We're going to go on a beer run because we don't want to take the Lincoln because of the gas mileage. You only get like 6-8 miles to a gallon. We take right off the bar. I throw my keys on the bar. I take his keys. We jump in his Nova, and we drove to Colorado to buy Coors beer.
Wow.
Whoa.
Right? Halfway there, we get to Pennsylvania. The exhaust system falls out. Typical, right?
Excellent.
Right.
All right, so we get out to Colorado. We go nonstop, straight through.
Get
multiple drivers straight through. And we get Coors beer. This is
that
great.
Explains
we
a
take
lot.
his back seat, throw his back seat out. Because you need room for beer, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we load it up, and we do our thing out there. We drive back. We're coming back to Island Park, and there's like a Dairy Queen, what do they call this thing, Dairy Barn?
Yes.
Where they had to drive that we could get groceries, beer, and stuff, and they had a big sign, we now serve and sell Coors beer.
The other thing I was thinking, Brock, wasn't it illegal to transport it because it had to be refrigerated, and that was the thing. It was too expensive to send refrigerated trucks. So to actually transport it, you could probably could have got locked up for that.
Interstate, bringing alcohol, interstate, no tax. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right. All you need is 30, 40 cartons of cigarettes and some ammunition in the back. You cover all bases.
It's a Nova, Ray. Give him a break.
Another vacation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, federally paid vacation,
Yeah, I mean...
when you're single, you get these crazy road trips, and then something sparks a memory. You say, oh, yeah, I remember that. I said, what the hell were we thinking?
Excellent.
That's the kind of stuff memories are made of.
Well, we're happy to oblige you with that, Brian.
Now, here in the 21st century...
I had to share that that story with you. You know, just how it's going.
Thank
you know, and Joe, you made a great point about doing car restorations. Just real briefly, is that most people are looking for the coupon specials. They want to buy the secondhand parts that are dated, especially like plastic parts or stuff that, you know, they're old, they dry, they cracked. Used parts that
we're talking about the cost now,
putting a good used part in rather than putting in a good new part. And then they cry the blues 30, 50 days later when the part fails.
Oh, yeah.
So my advice is, if you're going to do a restoration on a vintage automobile, or you're just going to repair an automobile, use quality parts, go to a quality mechanic. And the way I learned is very simple. Do the job right the first time, or you're going to do it right the second time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, or if you're the unlucky mechanic who gets it the second time, you got to fix what somebody else did.
Oh yes, unscrewing the proverbial light bulb, as it were. Yeah, I see plenty of that. Believe me.
Oh, you and me both. Out here, there's no mechanics out here. There's very few.
Right.
And the majority of tinkering I do is fixing someone else's mistake.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah, but the worst part is trying to figure out what the hell they did, especially on the older cars where they half-ass it and makeshift it.
Right.
Right. If you don't know what you're doing, say, I don't know, I can't do this, but I know somebody who might be able to help you. Rather than say, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And a roll of duct tape and some crazy glue, and the car is fixed.
Oftentimes, it's easier just to rip everything out and start from scratch the right way.
Right. And, you know, that's the point you just brought up, is that when you are doing something like that, replace everything. Just don't replace the part that failed or the part you're replacing. New seals, bearings, gaskets, whatever it is, take it all the way to that point that you're doing it and put everything new in, because, you know, it's only as good as the weakest link. And if you're dealing with an older vehicle, right, you're going to put a new part in, it's going to cause a secondary part to fail.
That's what happened with this Grand National when I was doing the assessment, and I told Mike, I said, what's that, Joe?
It's a turnstile.
Yeah, turnstile, right. And I said, you know, where do I stop? Because we could literally, once I change this, I want to change that, and then you should do this, and then, of course, that over there should be done. And before you know it, we're going to do the whole car. So you have to have also definitive guidelines or work within the system.
Where do I stop?
Exactly. And sometimes that's a money
where do I
issue.
Start and how far do I want to go?
That's the point,
You know, when you're doing these, you got to have a plan. And I always suggest, okay, you bought this car, the car is running at this point. Make a checklist of priorities. Okay, this has to be done first, right? This has to be done next, and then just go down the checklist of your priorities, but fix everything within that first paragraph, that first parameter. So if you're doing brakes and the car is 30 years old, you know the master is bad, especially out east. You're going to have rusted brake lines. Your flex hoses, they're going to be cracked or dry rotted. Whether it's calipers, seals, wheel cylinders, hardware, axle seals in the rear if it's a rear driver. All these things here are time allocated that they're going to fail, and they're worn out and they're dried out. You're going to do it, replace it all. This way you do it once, and that whole system is finished.
Well, that's like I said, Bronk. In a month of part-time work, I put 44 hours into a car that really, in my assessment, like I would have never thought it would have added up to that much. But, hey, it took a lot of time to get things out and get things done the right way. So,
Right.
So that's it. Yeah, so that's great advice, and we appreciate that very greatly.
Well, take it for what it's worth.
Words of wisdom.
Today I take my bike out, I do a quick safety check, find out what I have to do. And, you know, especially when you pull something out, I always bleed the brakes. You know, just put in fresh fluid because of condensation, tires, air pressure, you know, the whole 9 yards, oil, primary, all that nonsense there.
Sure.
So this way, you know, you're going to be safe on the road as well as you can anticipate.
Right.
And same thing goes for cars, bikes, ATVs, whatever the hell you got.
You got it.
Have a lot of fun out there. I will talk to you guys soon, and enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, Bronk, thanks.
Bronk. Thanks, man.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Bye.
So long. So we're going to take our first break, Joe, and like Bronk was saying, you know, you have to go one way or the other. It's like with a repair, you don't want to skimp, and you really just don't want to stick down the middle of the road.
Hi, I'm Rob Leonard, host of Beatles Songs for the past 24 years right here on WHPC. Beatles Songs airs every Friday from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., playing the music of the Beatles together, apart.